You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the show. Great to be with you here today, and can't wait to get started with our Friday review. We hit a couple milestones this week. Looking forward to sharing that with you as well. A couple special offers going on this Memorial Day weekend. And then a book review. I've got a public safety announcement on tap water that you will not want to miss. And then, of course, our lab results of the week. So let's go over right now. Let's just get started with a big milestone, at least for me, that I was excited about hitting and really wasn't even looking at it on my radar, as they say, for it coming up. And on Monday, we hit 7 million downloads on the same day that it was the 1200th podcast. So I was excited, not necessarily for the 1200, and the reason is that it's not 1,000, it's not 2,000. And for me, this is a daily moving forward, a daily progression, and a daily regimen of mine to be able to get on the microphone and to talk about all of the things that I wish that I knew 20 years ago. And I don't see that ever stopping. I really don't. I know that we're going to be doing a lot more video in the future. I know I'm going to be talking and teaching a lot more in smaller courses to get this out to the general public about thyroid and sleep and stress and female hormones and all of these different things. These are all things that are absolutely coming. But what I want to do is I never want to forget, I think, the power behind just being able to share information on a single topic on a daily basis that could change the trajectory of someone's life. Meaning that had I known about food sensitivities 20 plus years ago, or about the HPA axis and the adrenals, if I knew about how to remove and eradicate viruses from the body, if I knew about anti-inflammatory diet, if I knew not to eat as much protein as I was before, all of these things would have helped. Now, maybe I would have listened, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I would have criticized, or maybe I wouldn't, because it depends. It would depend on where I was. And, the thing is, though, that the information, it doesn't stop being true. That's a lot of times we have issues with, meaning like, if you're in the keto all the time camp or carnivore all the time camp or whatever camp it might be, you don't leave yourself open to possibility and other voices. So for me, again, a lot of people don't know this, but I mentioned it before. We were doing and getting people into ketosis way before anybody ever heard the term keto. It's just part of a natural fasted-based state that can happen after anywhere from, well, it depends on if you exercise, you can deplete yourself of liver glycogen and you can start to move more into ketones. But it happens naturally after doing a couple-day fast, and that's pretty normal. And so, but we're not forcing our body to stay in it for long periods of time. And again, but if that's what you believe in, and that's what you're teaching for everyone, you have to ask yourself why. Is this really right for everyone? And if so, for how long? What I try to do with the podcast as well is just be a voice, whether anyone's ready to hear it or not. These are tried and true things. I don't postulate on what I believe may come true in the future. Or if I do, I always tell you, this is a theory I'm working out. This is something I believe, and here's why. But everything's from what we do in the practice, what we've been doing for the past couple decades, and having seen over 250,000 people. And it's based on lab tests, and it's based on the research. So I just want you to know, on the podcast, it is unbiased. If someone says, if there's any type of form of medicine, if there's any advanced lab tests, we always look into them. And we want to be able to do the best for everyone. That's really it. And again, as I say, there's even a time and place for conventional medicine and pharmaceuticals, but it's in life-saving conditions. So remember that I really want to be the voice that's as unbiased as humanly possible, and just letting you know this is what works. And there can be other things that work too. There really can. But I always look at it, what works now, what's going to work 100 years from now, and what's also going to work in both the short term and the long term so that nobody has to sacrifice their health. All right. So 7 million downloads, 1,200 podcasts. I appreciate you. I thank you. I thank you for all of your shares. I thank you for your ongoing support. And of course, I thank you for always passing this information along to anyone else you feel it could serve in their life. So I appreciate you. The next is what we have. We're always trying to do fun things at Equilibrium. And again, as the team grows, I have less to do with the offers going on and the website and all those things. Of course, like I oversee it and I'm giving the team my vision. Like we just had this amazing meeting on Tuesday and, get everyone together and, really just going through ideas. I tell them the new products that I'm looking to formulate. A lot of people don't know this either, but it takes 4 to 5 months for us to get a new product out. That's after I formulate it. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's the production time. Because after we formulate a product, that's kind of just the beginning. We have to source all of the ingredients. Then, if it's a multi-ingredient formula like the daily nutritional support, we have to test all of the ingredients, but third-party based, for contaminants. So a lot of companies don't do this. And so it takes us a long time. So we're actually planning out products that will start in January of 2020. And we have some amazing things coming. I mean, these are things that I've wanted to do for quite some time. And I said, once the company grows to a certain level, we're going to reinvest back into the products. And that's what we do. I mean, Equilibrium Nutrition, and it's really a research-based brand. It's a functional medicine research-based company. And we put it back into formulas. We put it back into product development. And one day we'll fund research studies, I'm sure, as well. Once we continue to grow, we'll be able to do our own research studies. And who knows, we might even ask for participants in that study right here from our community. I don't see why we wouldn't. So that's what we have. The offer, which I didn't even mention, is our team over there has put together a free shipping offer on the daily fruit and vegetable blend capsules. So a lot of people may be traveling this summer and they don't want to take their powders maybe with them. Well, they can just bring along their daily fruit and vegetable blend capsules. And that's the powder that's been encapsulated. And simply put, you can just get all of your 22 organic fruits and vegetables and superfoods all in a couple capsules a day. So it's pretty great. I mean, it really is. It's an easy way to take them for people who don't want to take greens-based powders. Ours is a rainbow-based powder, we call it, because it's fruits, veggies, and superfoods without the sugar. And it's in this really nice powder that I use every single day. It's a great, great product. All right, and this one's we're keeping a little bit quiet. But I'll let you know because I'm an open book. I really am. My team probably thinks I'm too much of an open book for sure. But here's what happened. The CBD payment processor we were using, we were lucky enough to get on. I told you how we had been blocked from getting a CBD payment processor for, 5 months or 6 months? Something ridiculous. And I told my team, I said, I know that we're not supposed to touch CBD. I know we're not even supposed to talk about it. But I said, we have the best quality organically grown CBD product in the world. We know that it works. People have been using it before CBD was even popular. How do we get this to people? I said, I want to give it away. What can we do? And that's what we did. We gave it away when we couldn't sell it. Well, once again, we can't sell it. We don't know when we're going to be able to process it again. Our new payment processors say, it'll be another week or two. Well, they've been telling us that. We've known that our payment processors were going to get shut down more than 6 weeks ago. And of course, we were trying from the very next day or the same day to get a new payment processor. Well, it doesn't work that easy, and here's why. CBD oil is, although it's legal in all 50 states, although there's no psychoactive component to it, it contains less than 0.3 THC. Unless you're using it topically. If you're using it internally, like we do, you can also use it topically, is that banks, they don't want to touch it. They don't want it. And that's the truth. They don't want it because on a federal level, the government's saying, well, we don't really know what to do with it. What they're really saying is we want to let pharmaceutical companies patent it, use it as a pharma-based drug, and then sell it back to you at a ridiculous price, right? A ridiculous price. So that's the problem. That's what we're dealing with. Luckily, there's a couple banks out there, and they're willing to kind of stick their neck out, even though they're getting fined for this. It's a crazy, crazy world we live in. It really is, especially with so many counterfeit-based products. It's terrible. So all we want to do is I just want to bring you the products I use in my practice and that I use in my own family. I mean, that's really it. And we have 2 new products we can't even get out to you. They're sitting on the shelf as of 1 week ago. These are brand new CBD-based products that no one else is doing. So I can't wait to get these to you. I can't wait till it launches, but just stay tuned for that. I'll announce it by email. I'll announce it in our private Facebook group at cabralsupportgroup.com. For sure, everyone in there is always the first to know. So what I will let you know is this. All orders over $199 at Equilibrium Nutrition starting next week. We'll give you the date. So stay tuned by email. If you have not signed up at equilibriumnutrition.com, you have to do that. It's coming next week, or it might even be coming today. So just sign up for that email. I mean, really, we don't send out a million emails. It's not that thing. We're not going to market you spam or whatever it is. And if we ever do, then unsubscribe. That's the truth. Like, I would never do that to you. And if you feel that that's the case, then absolutely unsubscribe, because I'm not that type of person at all. But I can tell you this, we'll announce it. We're giving away a limited supply. I believe we're giving away 300 bottles. So all orders over $199, once this starts, will get a free travel size bottle of the CBD oil. And I believe that's a $39.95 value. So it's pretty fantastic. Obviously, you get free shipping with that. We'll send that out to you. So it won't be sent in the same order. It'll be sent from a separate order from a different fulfillment house, because as crazy as it sounds, our main fulfillment house won't even fulfill CBD oil, which means they won't allow it in their fulfillment center. I'm telling you right now, it's completely insane. This is not a drug. There's no psychoactive effects to it. There's no THC. It's not marijuana. It's not any of that. This is what we have to deal with. If you think it's all sometimes like rainbows and unicorns, there's a lot of crazy stuff behind the scenes. But I made a pledge, and that's to make sure that I never let any of this craziness stop us from doing what we believe is the right thing to do by people. And that is, if we can't sell this product, we're giving it away. That's it. So there'll be a limited supply of those bottles, either starting today or next week on Tuesday will be the start to that. So just stay tuned. I believe it's Tuesday. Sign up at equilibriumnutrition.com and you'll get that giveaway announcement. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is give you a great book by request. People are asking me, how can I learn more about vitamins? How can I learn more about the individual minerals? Where are you learning all these different things? Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of big textbooks and great books that you can read. And I've given a lot of those in the Integrative Health Practitioner program. I give that right in level 1. So whether you do the course or the certification, no problem at all. I'm not sure if I mentioned this book in IHP. So if you're an integrative health practitioner and you're studying to become a certified health coach, this is a book that's easy to read, and it's something that it should be a must read. It gives you a background on vitamins and minerals, why they're so important, and it gives you hundreds of research case studies and just research citations of why using orthomolecular and functional medicine-based nutritional supplements lead to a healthier and longer life with less dis-ease in the body. So the book is called Orthomolecular Medicine for Everyone. Literally anyone could read this book, not like last week where I said it was more of a practitioner-based book. Anybody could read this. And it is about 300 pages long. It talks about different dis-eases of the body. It talks about the brain and cancer, overall health, longevity, GI issues, minerals, the importance of vitamin D, vitamin E, how most people get less than 30 IUs of vitamin E a day, and why we have so many cardiovascular-based issues. Now, again, our community, if you're doing our daily foundational protocol, level 1, level 2, or level 3, you're getting all of your nutrients met. I'm not saying that you're not. You're getting them all met. That was the whole goal. One smoothie every morning, done for you. Like everything that you need, it's done. So that was my goal with the daily nutritional support. And of course, the daily fruit and vegetable blend, omegas, and daily probiotic are just great add-ons to that I do every day. And I consider it, again, a foundational protocol before you use all the other fancy supplements. You have to start there. So this was written by 2 PhDs, and one of them, Dr. Hoffer, is an MD. I've talked about Dr. Andrew Saul before. He wrote a book called Doctor Yourself, I believe. I read that many, many moons ago. That was a great book. This is an easy, straightforward book to read. Just one comment on this, and that's that I don't use mega doses of nutritional supplements. I don't. People could look in the back and be like, that's a lot of B vitamins. But honestly, the B vitamins are not mega doses on any of our products. If they look like mega doses, maybe, considering the daily intake that's recommended is so low, it's just to prevent things like rickets and scurvy and just insane diseases that we're just not going to get anymore. So that's what it takes to just be disease-free. But the recommended daily intake is not for optimal. It's not optimal. It just means you won't have a chance of dying if you don't go below this. So that's all that it means. It does not mean healthy. That's for sure. Remember, our healthcare system does not test for health. It tests for disease and mortality-based issues, but it never tests for optimal health. That is not its job. Remember, the job of true healthcare is going to a health practitioner, not your medical doctor. Your medical doctor is trained to keep you from dying. And that's a good thing too, right? Like that's why I've never said that you should not. Let me use a little double negative here. I never said not to go to your MD. I believe everyone should have an MD, a PCP, a GP, whatever you want to call it, your general practitioner. Everyone should. Make sure you're not at a chance of dying, right? That's a good thing. Run your blood work, ideally twice a year. And just make sure things are good. But you do want to have a health practitioner, whether it be a naturopathic doctor or a functional medicine practitioner, integrative health practitioner, someone that knows their stuff. There's a lot of great personal trainers out there that know their stuff inside and out with nutrition and supplementation. Could be that, right? Could be a great nutritionist. It's just you have to go to someone that's qualified. And that could come from an array of different areas. Because I'll be honest, like if you ask me, where did I learn the most? Well, where I learned the most was reading thousands of books outside of school and doing my internships. That's where I learned my most. Interning under another doctor. Just like I'm trying to teach the health coaches on my team right now. And just like I'm trying to do for the integrative health practitioners. I'm trying to mentor and teach as best as I can. So I don't believe in the mega doses for a long period of time, some of which they recommend in this, like higher doses of niacin, higher doses of vitamin E. I don't recommend that for an ongoing period of time. For a period of 12 to 16 weeks, absolutely. Very, very good possibility I would do that in my own practice. But after that, I'm weaning down the nutritional supplements to the foundational-based dose people need for everyday health. Okay, so wanted to mention that. Orthomolecular medicine for everyone. Megavitamin therapeutics for families and physicians is the subtitle of the book. It was written about a decade ago, obviously still relevant today because vitamins and minerals, they're not going away. There would just obviously be just 10 times the amount of research over the last decade. All right, great book. I'll link it up. Head on over, everyone, to stephencabral.com/1204 for today's show notes links. All right, next up is this public service announcement right here. Had to do this. Got off Skype with a private concierge practice client of mine. We were going over their labs. And they just told me, this was very disturbing, that in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, where they live, they just found out that the city was keeping from them extremely elevated levels of water contaminants in their public drinking water that they knew about for at least the last 7 years. I mean, how are people not legally liable for this? Everyone else is liable. How are our governments and everything not liable? I don't understand this. They found over 18 contaminants, okay? They found insect repellents. They found organophosphates. They found flame retardants. They found fluorinated chemicals like fluoride, higher levels of fluoride. They found additional pharmaceuticals such as antibiotics. They found antibiotics that were treated for urinary tract infections and pneumonia. They found non-stick Teflon coatings in the water. They found firefighting foams. I mean, this is insane. I could go on and on. And the problem is this, that currently I believe it's the Environmental Protection Agency, it only regulates 90 chemicals in drinking water. That's it. I was shocked. 90? 90. That's it. You know from the rain barrel effect in my book, I've already talked about this, but not enough people know about it. I want that book to literally be required reading. I just feel that it should be. And I donate all of the profits, 100% of them, because I want to be able to try to get that book into as many people's hands. And I don't want people to think that my message has anything to try to do from profiting from it. It's what I've learned, and I want to pass that on. And I talked about this. These municipalities and the water that is being run through them is sometimes just sewage water that's being filtered. I mean, this is really terrible stuff. And so what I can tell you is this. You don't know what you don't know. And you can't trust that your drinking water is clean. For the past 7 years, the people in this Cape Cod town, they felt that their drinking water was fine. I have a lot of friends who go down the Cape for the summer. A lot of friends. And here's the issue. What was being done to them was out of their control. They didn't know it. They trusted. They believed that it was going to be fine. This is why I can't recommend enough. A Berkey water filter, and I'll link up the one that I use at stephencabral.com/1204. I'll link up the exact one I have in my house that I use in my family. You need a high-powered water filter for a lot of these things. When you're talking about gases, VOCs, pesticides, you can't just boil the water, and you can't use a regular Brita filter. It doesn't work. You can't use your refrigerator filter. It's just not going to work. It isn't strong enough. And so these chemicals are going to be passed on to you. You don't have to use a Berkey filter. I don't own the company. I'm just saying that I don't know of a stronger one, right? You could use a reverse osmosis if you want. It's just much more expensive, and it has to be mounted on the sink typically. Or you could do a whole house reverse osmosis if you want, and then you have to add the minerals back in, which is totally fine. You can absolutely do that. Totally fine to do. But just don't drink tap water anymore. That's it. I mean, it's bottom line, don't drink tap water. I mean, it's going to happen every once in a while. If I'm out, they use ice cubes. Those ice cubes are tap water. There's no doubt about it. It happens. I drink it. It is what it is. But I'm just going to make sure that my dog, my 2 young girls, my family, my wife, they're just not going to drink tap water from Boston. Like, it's just not. It's not happening. So that's it. That's my recommendation for you. And also, we drink a lot of glass bottled spring water as well. Mountain Valley is one of my favorite brands for that too, but there's a lot of great brands out there that I've talked about and recommended. Some are New England based. I've recommended them before, but they don't ship necessarily through the whole country. Mountain Valley is one that you can find pretty much anywhere. All right, one more item for today, quick one. We're talking about public drinking water, right? Well, one of the biggest contaminants in drinking water as well is arsenic. Now, not everywhere, of course, but arsenic actually comes from underwater, whether it's from the rocks, actually rock breakdown, as well as the water runoffs from factories or the smoke from factories as well that's being basically rained down or, coming out in the atmosphere down what that you're breathing in, and also down onto food-based products as well. So, of course, smoking tobacco, as I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, is one of the most prevalent ways of getting arsenic, but a lot of people blame rice. A lot of the times with the rice, honestly, it's the water being used to water the rice, because rice grows by basically sitting in water. So if you expose rice to arsenic, of course, it's going to have arsenic. So that's a really important thing, to look at itself. Being exposed to, waste sites or having a waste site, near your house, and all of that gets kicked up in the air, there might be arsenic in the air. So any type of smoke that may, again, contain arsenic is an easy way to get it. But I'll tell you that the main way is from contaminated drinking water. So again, stay away from this type of water. Use a really powerful filter such as the Berkey. And again, I don't own Berkey, but it's the most powerful one that I know of as of right now, unless you do a reverse osmosis or whole house filter. Okay, and I've done whole shows on this. So you can just go to stephencabral.com/podcast and just type in Berkey or type in water filter, and you'll see all the different levels of water filters that I've recommended before. And on today's show notes, I'll just give you the one that I use. All right, what are some signs of arsenic contamination or poisoning that you may have gotten? This is at a higher level, but it can be abdominal pain, nausea, diarrhea, accelerated heart rates, like a heart-based arrhythmia or irregular rhythm, be muscle cramping. It can be pins and needles, the tingling of the fingers and toes or the extremities. That's with any heavy metal, by the way. These are all heavy metals in general, but arsenic, of course, causes these as well. You can start to get skin rashes or red, swollen, or inflamed skin. That's it for the most part. Those are the main symptoms that I've seen, that I've read, that I've researched on all heavy metals, but specifically arsenic as well. So detoxification is the name of the game. Honestly, if you find yourself with this heavy metal detox, first start opening up the pathways, do a 7-14 or ideally 21-day equilibrium nutrition detox, then do the heavy metal detox, keep those pathways open, use a sauna, do dry brushing, do rebounding, use hot Epsom salt baths. All of that will work. All right, how do you test for it? Well, one more thing. If you let this go long term, I've seen it affect people's thyroid and I've seen it lead to cancer. So again, let's take care of it now. Let's make sure we don't have it. You can run a urine test to find this. You can run a hair tissue mineral analysis to look for arsenic. And you can also ask your PCP general practitioner to do a heavy metal blood work screen as well. So those are all ways to look for arsenic, make sure that you have not been contaminated with it. An easy one that we typically do is just the hair tissue mineral analysis. But again, you can do a urine-based test as well right at home. Super simple to do as well. Hopefully this was helpful. I appreciate you, like I said, tuning in as always. And if this information was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. Have a great Memorial Day weekend for anyone here celebrating wherever they celebrate Memorial Weekend, at least in the U.S. And also wanted to make sure that you do stay tuned for this weekend's Cabral house calls where we answer our community's questions each and every weekend. Those will continue every day, 7 days a week on the Cabral Concept. Take care, everyone. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/resources.